Gotta make that YouTube algorithm happy. So, hey everybody, we will be focusing on booting Windows into an Atari VCS today. So the first thing we're going to do is, here we are on the menu of the thing for the Atari VCS, and we are going to be launching Windows using a USB stick. I have installed Windows onto USB stick using Windows to Go from another machine. And what we're going to do is actually try to boot it using PC mode, which is up there. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit. You can see the unit right here. Over there, you will see a USB hub. I have connected that to the back of the unit so that I wouldn't have to keep playing with the ports on the actual unit itself. So we are going to restart this to boot it, and this is going to be real time. So if there's any gaps, my apologies. Restart. As a measure of just being careful, it will constantly ask you, are you sure? So, do you want to restart? Do you want to stop it? Do you want to quit it? Everything like that. So, alright, so it is currently restarting. There's the Atari logo. And you get the little spinny thing down below that identifies it as Windows. So I'll grab my keyboard. And there's Windows. That's the startup screen. So, of course, it's a little slow sometimes. And that is the radio waves. It's because it's wireless. So here's Windows, and it launches up just fine. So we are going to go to a little bit about Windows. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to Settings. I'm going to go to the System, and you can see that it operates very quick. I'm going to go down to About, and right in here it tells you the processor. So it's an AMD Ryzen embedded R1606G with Radeon Vega graphics. The graphics are incorporated in with the processor. It makes it easier so that you don't have to have an additional piece of hardware in the console itself. And the installed RAM is 8 gigabytes. So I've got the Atari Black Walnut 800. So the default is 8 gigabytes. And depending on how this goes, I may actually be bumping it up to 16. I'll talk about that in a minute. So it's a 64-bit operating system, so that's good. And it behaves very well. So we're going to test World of Warcraft. So I've already pre-installed it. So I've got it right here. I've got my area down here. This is I've turned this into a quick launch area to bring that back from Windows 7. And it's very simple to create. You just create a new menu and you just drag it over. Come on. It's thinking. No, maybe not. Let's try it again. Nope, there it is. Okay. So it was thinking. A little slow on the first fire off, kick off, however you want to call it. But this is Battle.net. World of Warcraft requires another application just to launch it. And this is for folks that are trying to do gaming on Linux using Wine, it's not going to work because there's a lack of communication. Alright, so we've got World of Warcraft right here, so I'm going to kick that off. And it's thinking. Started up a window. Hardware changed. Reload default settings? Yes. I'll explain that later. Okay, here it comes. Okay, this lag may only be just because this is the first time since I've run it off of another machine. So I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Alright, so looking at the animation and everything, it's very fluid, it's very nice. So this is my main character that I've had with this game for a very long time. Get that off, I'm gonna fire up the volume. And it's loading pretty quick. Alright, and there we go. Alright, so let's test movement. Left, right, forward, backward. It's doing pretty well. Alright, take my mouse. Open that up. It opens right up. Click. Alright, let's get something else up. Open, close, open, close, and there's an idiot right there. So the pain train's is delayed. That's me. Everybody seems to go to this spot in game. Why? Because there's nothing here. So I like to camp out here. And when people come in and they go to the spot, I do that. I yell, the pain train is delayed, and I do a roar. And I have those selected with macros right down here on this. So, there's that. Alright, so anyways. So, forwards, backwards, left, right. Now this is a wireless keyboard, so if there's any delays, it's just me. Now this is a drawn type thing. Pretty involved. Alright, so if I hit escape, nothing happens. And now I've actually tried this on 4 machines. This one here. And I've tried it on 3 others and the same behavior. So that tells me it's a bug from a recent update. So they'll have a recent update. They'll be doing maintenance tomorrow being Tuesday. And maybe they'll fix that bug. I hope it's been reported, because I can't go to where I need to for macros to control those. So, but anyhow, let's go over and let's try flying.
Why would anyone walk anywhere?
And let's go to here.
Remember.
Now we're watching the animation. And the animation is looking pretty good. So this is running on the Atari VCS with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it is running pretty well. I want to check the video settings, but because I can't go into escape, I can't go to those settings. There is a workaround. So if I'm in windowed mode right now, so I can just close it. And I'm going to restart it. And the animation up here is nice and fluid. It's very nice. So I'm going to go to the menu here. Now this isn't the full available menu that you get in-game, but go to System. Graphics, window, and window size custom, monitor primary. Now I check the settings down here. Fair texture resolution, Some spell density, projected textures are enabled. View distance is a 2. Environment detail is 2. Ground clutter is a 2, so the sliders are way over on the left. Not all the way, but pretty close. And then shadow quality, liquid detail, particle density, those are all set to low. SSAO, depth effects, compute effects, on outline mode, all these are disabled. So basically, when I installed it and such, it has automatically found the best configuration for this display, or what this video card or video chip is capable of, which happens to be those settings there. And that's through the Atari VCS, and as a result, we get a very smooth and very fluid experience. And it's still flying. Yeah, and it's moving around pretty well. Maybe I shouldn't have gone all the way to Orbos. Okay. Alright, Windows has turned on Storage Sense to optimize the storage usage. Now, it's not exactly moving exactly fluid. I see a little bit of choppiness, but it's very light. And here we are. Alright. Welcome to Orbos. And I pronounce it like that because I'm a wild and crazy guy. Alright. Oh, it's thinking. It's a bit choppy out here. Boy. Yeah, you can, if you hold it. Let me zoom out and watch the environment. Looks pretty smooth, but if you zoom in and do that, looks pretty smooth. You have to let it. It's relatively smooth. Okay. Alright, it's looking pretty smooth. Get that open, shut that. Alright. Now looking around, it's not exactly fluid smooth. You can see a little bit of choppiness. It's not too bad. It's tolerable. All the way around. Yep, I did. flying through the flight path, if you look at the character and the mount, there's the slightest bit of chop. You may not be able to see that in the video, but there is a little bit of chop. It's not intolerable. It's, it's okay. It's a lot smoother now. The environment is nice and smooth. And it's pretty smooth. Alright, so it would appear that in the individual areas it's a lot smoother, not as much detail needs to be cached. So, but Orbos, which I believe is the proper pronunciation, it has to load everything all in one go. So, of course, you're going to have a little chop with the lower settings or lower capabilities. So, there we go. All right, much better. Okay. So that is pretty good. Alright, let's see what Hearthing does. Let's see the animation of that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn myself so you can see me. And Hearthing. Okay, it's very fluid. So the character animation is very fluid. No chop. And I'm back at the Sinfall area. Alright. Okay, for the sake of the distance of the keyboard, I have actually moved to the other set, to the left side of the TV. Alright, so we are going to shut this down. Okay, so it is now off. I am pulling the USB drive. And here it is. I'll keep holding it here. Make sure I'm in the shot. Yeah, okay, I'm in the shot. So there it is. So, when I turn the VCS back on, I expect it to boot to the Atari OS. Alright, so here's Windows. EFI USB device, SanDisk Extreme Pro, this, boot failed. Okay, so, here's my thoughts on that. The VCS is not automatically booting up into Atari OS. It is automatically trying to boot up off of the USB stick, and that is not what I want. I expect it to go to Atari OS. It did not. So control three fingers salute, Control Alt Delete. Of course, it shuts off the display. Alright, there's the Atari logo. It's from the motherboard. Get some Linux stuff in the upper corner for a sec. Mouse cursor, because I've got the mouse plugged in, and there's the startup. So there we go. Okay, so that was launching Windows on the Atari VCS, and so what I found with it is that it behaves pretty well. For the sake of the RAM, of course, I'm using the built-in RAM, which is 8 gigabytes. I will go ahead and I'm going to boost that up to 16 gigabytes. Now that's, you have the motherboard, and if you flip it over, it's on the underside. So I'll be getting that, and I'm running this test launch of Windows on the USB stick. It's on a 128 gigabyte SanDisk Extreme Pro, which is more or less a solid state drive. So with Windows and World of Warcraft on it together, it uses up a lot of the space. I've got some on there, but I also want to pop on Steam and Epic. But what I'm going to need to do is get a new stick, like a 256 gigabyte. So I'll do that. That issue with the escape button to get the menu, that's in game. So seeing the behavior on the Atari was interesting. So I figured I would just take the USB stick, stick it into another computer that was built essentially for Windows. It's now my Linux machine, but I can boot it into Windows, and I get the same behavior. And then I'm like, okay, so let's try it on my laptop, which is a Windows machine, and at the same behavior. And then I've got two more machines that are Windows based, and I fired it up in there, and the same behavior. So that tells me it's a bug in the software, probably as a result of a recent update to the game. So I think that is something that they may need to fix, and hopefully they do. Today's Monday, so tomorrow is maintenance day. Hopefully it gets fixed. I'll keep an eye out for that. If not, I'll look for a bug tracker and pop it in there if I need. From there, I'm a bit of a hardware guy, so I had that USB hub off to the side, and I connected that directly into the back of it. So here's the front, here's the back. I plugged it into the back of it. That way I don't need to use the ports that are on the actual VCS. I can just plug it all into the hub, the USB 3 hub. And something I did do with it, with the VCS, was I did upgrade the storage using the extra storage slot, the SATA slot in the front, inside. It didn't, this one, because it was pre-order or whatnot, it didn't actually have a mounting post or screw or whatnot for a SATA drive, which is basically a solid state drive. But I had bought an NVMe drive, and it had those little things in there. So I had a couple of spares of those in there, in the little bag. So I took it and I plugged it in. There we go. So I've got a SATA drive in there for 500 gigabytes. Am I going to fill it? Probably not. So, will I use some of it? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't come across that bridge yet. So I did that. I've got the USB hub on there, and I'm going to be getting RAM, and I'm going to be getting a double-sized USB stick to put Windows to go on it, and that will be my Windows install for that stick. What I might actually do, it will actually be easier. I won't actually install Windows on it. I'll essentially just clone it over, and then the space that hasn't been used yet, I'll just go to disk management and just stretch out the partition. There you go. And then that'll be all set, because I'm a hardware guy. So that'll be me, and I'll be using Linux to do the cloning. So that'll be the easier part there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to edit this in OpenShot, and I've got links all down below for everything. If you'd like to help out at all, I do accept Monero Crypto. There's a QR code for that. Address is also down below as well. And please give it a like if you happen to like this. Subscribe so you can see more videos. I was actually inspired to do this video specifically just to get it, somewhat just to get it done, but otherwise to get it done, from another YouTuber, Rachel Maxey, She's somewhat local, and her husband, her dog, and I believe she's got a cat too. I just recently saw. Spent some time up in New Hampshire. Thank you for coming on up here. And I see that you might be in the market for moving. My recommendation is move to New Hampshire. A, we're not that far away. B, Morgan's here. And see me on Mastodon. See me on PixelFed. I've got an account for the home and an account for myself. I'll put links to those down below. And I am on Birdsite, but I only use it for looking at news headings of different types. So I'll post announcements there, but that's pretty much it. So I've talked too long, so I'm going to get to editing. I also have a couple of appointments, so we will see you next time around. SKál.